There are so many people that cannot even discern who is not for or against them because they don't even originally know the clarity of the purpose to which they belong. But the moment you see yourself beyond your shame, beyond your mistakes, beyond your past choices, and you get over the notion that you should be somebody else, you center yourself in the eyes of God about you. Yeah. And you tell yourself, I don't care what my past is, I deserve healthy relationships. Yeah. I don't care where I've been. I require a connection of individuals that compliment me and not compete with me. Yeah. Because that's the only way I can find not only identity, but it's the only way I can find rhythm to find motion into not only finding my place, but surviving and sustaining, in that place. Because now I've created I've not created tension, I've created a tribe.
What's happening, family? Welcome back for another episode of Say So, where the redeemed of the Lord do just that. They say so. Family, you already know the drill. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear your say so. So be sure to email us at saysowithtam@gmail.com and tell us all the cool and amazing things that the Lord is doing in your life. So I'm going to go ahead and pray us in. If you're driving, keep your eyes open, 10 and 2. I ain't got time, okay? Dear Father, Lord, we just love you so much, God, and we're so grateful for an opportunity to serve you this way, to learn more about you this way, God. So have your way in this space. I'm so grateful for our guests today, God. Thank you for allowing our paths to cross, Lord. And we just pray, Father, that in the midst of this say so, that above all else, someone would get saved, someone would return back to you, someone would learn something new and cool about who you are to strengthen their relationship with you. We thank you and we bless you. In Jesus' name, amen. So my guest today, family, the only thing that wears me out about him is the only thing. He went to Howard, and it's just, as a Hamptonian girl,
Let me end this interview already.
It's okay. We extend grace. It's fine, but it's all HBCU love. But I'm so grateful for our guest. When I think of him, he is probably one of my favorite kingdom disruptors. He is one of my favorite biblically literate teachers. He just loves the Lord, passionate about the people of God. He is a published author of, hands down, and I'm not just saying this because he's my people. It is one of my favorite books, The Autopsy of Hope, Birthing Change in Crisis. He is the founder of Cultural Convos and the pastor of Revolution Revival Church. Please all rise for the one and the only, be imitated but never duplicated, Pastor Will Grandberry. Hi, darling.
Hey, Tam, I want that intro everywhere I go. Boost me up. No, I'm just playing. I'm so glad to be here, yo. I'm so honored. Thank you. Hey, you're dope. I'm excited about it.
I'm so happy you're here. It's so overdue. It was no way we was gonna do a whole Say So season without Will Grandberry. What are we even talking about?
Come on.
What are we even saying? So talk to us. What is your say it ain't so? What's your pet peeve or a fun fact that nobody knows about you?
Well, I think hilarious fun fact is that I am an introvert. I think the hilarious part about it is that I'm social and I love people, but I am always drained at the end of anything that goes beyond 2 or 3 people. So for me, honestly, I think that people are naturally disappointed when, they come around me. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes as an extroverted introvert, you recharge by yourself. Absolutely. I think sometimes people think that you recharge the more people.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. And you're just like, I am drained beyond measure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like I guess that's a random situation. I guess another fun fact about me is that I love Broadway. And
nice.
try to hit up New York once a month to see some type of show. So
I'll be there at the end of the month for Purpose.
Gotta go see that Artist Day.
Purpose. They said it's insane. They said it's absolutely amazing. So yes.
All right, come on, Arts.
Come on, Art. Come on, Art. So, Pastor, give us your say-so with testimony. Are you going to share with us?
I guess when I think about testimonies, what I love about testimonies is that it is always more than one. Like there's always a connection to where you can have a large testimony, a small testimony. Just the fact that I'm alive is a testimony. And I think for me, my greatest testimony is that, I guess, that of clarity. I guess me arriving to a point of knowing my purpose and knowing what I have been really put on the earth to do, I think is a testimony in that the amount of trauma and testing that led me to this point. I think for me, I've always felt the need to be different. And although I was different, I always leaned in the area of, safety, so that people's perception of me became my God more than God's opinion about me. So I guess my testimony was me leaving Chicago with no job here, no understanding. I moved back to the city, and as a result of that, I just kept grinding and kept praying. I had lost my job, and for like 4 to 5 months, my rent was $2,400. God never let me miss a payment. I always came through. And then I ended up with a job that literally paid less than the job I originally had. But because it was remote, it provided me a unique opportunity to gain more money than I had while doing less work. So the clarity that I got was that once I moved in faith without clarity coming here, God gave me confirmation within months' time of the reason why I am here. So for many people, that may not seem like a strong testimony, but when you live 10, 5, 1 year in ambiguity, when you live your life waking up every morning just existing and you don't have any sense of purpose or fulfillment, the very moment you see that you are where you belong and where you are supposed to be, it relieves so much stress, so much anxiety. So even when I am afflicted, Tam, because I know I'm in the purpose where I belong, I can manage affliction differently. Because I know that the affliction is tied into being where I belong.
Yeah.
So it's not like the deepest testimony.
No,
it's the greatest testimony for me. You feel me?
That is ocean deep. Zip your lid. No, seriously. How has it been being back?
So being back is I like to call it, I have triumphs and I have traumas. Like, and the two create for me this cultivation of my character. The triumphs is that I see myself returning stronger. I have more confidence. I have a sobriety that I did not have before, for not just ministry, but just life. The trauma, though, is trying to contend with a version of me that no longer exists. It's trying to resist the need to prove to other people that I'm not who I was. It's trying to not compensate and be okay with not having all that I feel like I need in a space where I have always wanted to be. And it's a place where I've had to become content, growing and grieving at the same time.
At the same time. And in coming back and dealing with the triumphs and the trauma, how has your community changed?
Man, you know the story of like Lot, and Lot is walking with Abraham and they're after a promise. The city is corroding. There's a clear indication that you have one focus, and that's forward. But yet, sometimes moving forward, causes you to sometimes reflect on what you're leaving versus where you're going. And then you have to now come into consciousness that sometimes I don't always love the fact that I have to leave. And so in answering that question, it's like I have to navigate a community that I love, but also a community that I have to leave. So I'm resetting so that those who I thought I would return to are there in body, but they're not connected to where I am in spirit. So it is not as easy navigating with the assumption that those who I left are still there, because though they are in the same place, I'm no longer walking or connected to those places. So it's like I don't really have a community as I had before. I love them, we're still cool, but I can't fight what I'm no longer like. I'm no longer there.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what I'm really saying right now.
No,
Like,
it
but
is good.
it's the honest, authentic reality of growth. Is that when you're grieving, I'm grieving, meaning I'm experiencing what I lost is impacting me, but I can't allow what I'm being impacted by to limit me based upon what I'm called to. And so when you are growing, God will place you in a space where you take a period of being isolated so that you can be prepared for where you are going, because where you're going connects with other people that are going with you. And you just have to factor into the equation that you just may lose some people in the middle.
And I think sometimes, and particularly in the church, when you just grow up with folks, it's just kind of this understanding that we just gonna ride forever. We're just gonna be with each other forever. And not even necessarily just always in church, but just people, period. And then as you grow and God stretches you, and particularly when you start wrapping your mind around what he'll have you to do, whatever your assignment is, and you notice, the same people I was riding with then, I can't ride with now.
Exactly.
What encouragement can you give somebody who's struggling with that? Like, I'm still trying to hold on to my homegirl, my homeboy. I'm trying to hold on to this idea of what I thought life would be, and they're just not okay with their community changing.
Absolutely. I think that's why I think I began like crazy with the testimony of clarity, because once you gain clarity and perception, clarity helps you equate cost. The truth of the matter is that it's going to cost you either way. It's going to cost you to stay, or it's going to cost you to leave. And I just admit that I'd rather put the cost to my future and the cost to preserving my present. And I think that you can't demonize a misconnection, right? If I outgrown it, those that I've outgrown they don't become losers, they become lessons, right? You don't have to demonize what you've outgrown. The fact is, it taught me something. I learned things. I became a better person because of those areas. But as anything that graduates with outside of capacity, needs to find a space that can house it. But if you grow out of capacity but contain, you retard the evolution that is happening within it. And so many individuals feel the need to grow, but they are limited because of their inability to remove themselves from the container that they no longer can be contained in. So my encouragement is let it go so that you can grow. I don't think that every relationship has to be you cutting it off. Sometimes you can just outgrow, meaning that if Tam, your appetite doesn't match my appetite, sometimes it doesn't require a response. I just don't require the same thing that you're after. And what I'm pursuing will literally reveal that we're not in the same level of what we're pursuing, and then it will speak for itself.
And it's okay.
It's okay, yo.
It's okay. I think if you are seeing that you've outgrown something and you're still hanging on to it, like you're still latching on. There was this Instagram picture that I remember some years ago somebody holding on to like this rope and they're in so much pain, and then they release it and they're like, I'm not in pain anymore. It's like, it's okay, to your point, to let it go. And it's not a losing situation. It's a lesson. Yeah. It's a teachable moment.
And I think that, and then you got to realize, like, what if I don't let it go? Like, there's a book that I always recommend by Henry Cloud called Necessary Endings. And he always subscribes the distinction between hurt and harm. And many people fear letting things go because of the factor of what impact it may do to another person. But he provides an analogy of a dentist, that if a dentist extracts a tooth, it hurts you, but it's not harming you. And sometimes in those endings, you have to be okay with the initial hurt. It hurts me to have to make these decisions, but I would rather make this decision today than harm you tomorrow. It's going to harm you if I stay with you, and the purpose of God on my life is not including you, because eventually it's going to end anyway. Yeah, so I have learned that part. Just to go in the flow and frequency of God. I'm telling you, and I'm an overthinker. So like, even just me answering that question about clarity naturally, I was like, man, I could have thought something different in real time. But now I'm thinking like how prophetic that is, because there are so many people that cannot even discern who is not for or against them, because they don't even originally know the clarity of the purpose to which they belong. But the moment you see yourself beyond your shame, beyond your mistakes, beyond your past choices, and you get over the notion that you should be somebody else, you center yourself in the eyes of God about you, and you tell yourself, I don't care what my past is, I deserve healthy relationships. I don't care where I've been. I require a connection of individuals that compliment me and not compete with me. Because that's the only way I can find not only identity, but it's the only way I can find rhythm, to find motion into not only finding my place, but surviving and sustaining, in that place. Because now I've created I've not created tension, I've created a tribe. Because my tribe, we respond to the same thing. Feel me? Like, it's not a friendship, it's a village. Yeah. We have a sequence or some type of synchronization where we know we know what we know.
It's deeper.
It's like deeper,
it's bigger than a friendship. We get so hard, especially as you just get older, like this life, you live a little longer. And you just be like, I put so much weight and so much energy in these friendships, but the people I gotta vault with, like the people who, we can have a good time, we can have a good key, but the folks who hold me accountable, who chin check me, who challenge me, who sharpen me, like it's deeper. It's deeper.
Facts. It's like, when you think about it, Tim, when I went to Howard,
I'll leave it alone. I'm chilling.
When I went to Howard, they told us, be yourself, because you will attract people just like you. The unfortunate part is we present versions of ourselves, and we attract individuals to that version. So then when we outgrow that version of ourselves, then we lack vision, because we don't fully know who we are. And I'm suggesting that God gives us grace to outgrow those versions of what we have created, and give us the opportunity to be in position to say, hey, I know what I was. Because what I was trying to adapt, was trying to survive, was trying to exist in a context that maybe was not for me to exist in. But my returning back, maybe your viewers don't know, I left DC and I came back to Chicago several times. And I fought never to come back here, because in a way, I felt like, because I learned everything here, all my dirt is here, all my exes are here, all my shame is here. You feel me? I wanted to just kind of like start over.
Yeah.
But sometimes God will bring you back to a space and cause you to have favor where other people failed in. And so with that conviction, Tam, I now represent myself in a space where others know me. And how do we identify? You see it in Moses. How do you identify? You see it in Joseph. How do you identify? You see it in Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Where I have to come back to a people that think that they know me. And he allows me to exist in that context until the revelation of who I am becomes realized. Even if the revelation of who I become comes after I no longer am in the earth. They will know the reason why I came. That's crazy, right?
It's crazy. And it's so easy, right? It's so easy. Every day there's no challenge, there's no trial. How do you steward the roughness of that, the difficulty, the challenges, even just I can only imagine the interactions that you have with people who still want to hold on to old whip.
Yeah.
How do you steward that?
Prayer.
There you go.
But prayer and boundaries.
Yeah.
I think prayer keeps me solid and sober. Boundaries help me maintain that space.
Yeah.
I don't always do it well, but sometimes prayer, especially in the mornings for me, like my devotions keep me centered, so that I'm typically able to make better sober decisions if I pray versus when I don't pray. And it allows me to sometimes deal with the fullness of my decisions, so that, Tam, the more God blesses you with, the easier it is to lose.
Yeah.
So now it becomes like, okay, if I go out with you, what's the cost? Like, am I there because, you want something from me, or, you know what I'm saying? What's the longevity of what we're doing? So now it's like, okay, let's go to Starbucks. We don't have to go eat, depending on the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or like, you know what I'm saying? I'm learning. This is the truth. I have been in places, Tam, where I have given more people to those that don't love me, and given little to those that do. And so I've spent time trying to prove myself to those that don't own me, and the opposite to those that have. So I've been trying to have boundaries for those that don't have that much skin in the game with me.
Yeah.
And give myself more so to those who have proven themselves to be loyal and trustworthy. And so that has kind of helped me monitor my safe space.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I gotta go here.
Hey.
I gotta go here.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I gotta go here. So again, I'm not just saying this because you're my people. I'm not just saying this. And I always think, I remember when you came out with the book, and a million years ago, we were co-hosting Joint Revival.
Okay.
And rapping about you writing a book. And I was like, you better do it, Will. You better do it. So when it came out, I bought this thing and locked in. And it is by far, and I promise you, I'm not gassing because I don't even do that. I don't gas. Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
It's so good. It is by far one of my favorite reads. And I can't wait for the next 98 books to come out. Okay? Come on. So, one of my favorite chapters is Bitter Disappointment. And it's one of the chapters I kind of had to put down, because I was like, well, first of all, lower your voice. Lower your voice, get out of my business and calm down. And I had to go back and read it maybe twice, maybe 3 times. Who's judging? My point is, it's such a great chapter, and it's crazy relatable. And 2 of my really, really good friends ended up reading it as well. And we had an interesting conversation. You made this statement in the chapter that says the dysfunctional decisions made in times of disappointment became debilitating to both my confidence and my calm. And we ended up having this really deep conversation about how you can know the assignment and call on your life. You can know the thing that God wants you to do, and that the specific thing he wants you to do in the earth. But you will be so caught up in yourself, in ego, in poor decisions, and it can dismantle that very thing. Why does lifestyle matter? And particularly when you're up against it and it's a decision that can make or break the very thing that you're called to do, and particularly when you know it.
Absolutely.
And particularly when you know it.
Yo, one of the greatest revelations I had to learn was that disappointment is a decision. And it's a decision because disappointment is foundationally rooted in false expectations. It's when a person has the audacity to expect something, sometimes we don't always evaluate what we're expecting because we bring to the table sometimes our own desires, what we expect from situations, and even from individuals who are proven not to have the capacity to deliver on those situations. So sometimes it becomes this spiral effect. And I know for myself, particularly like knowing that I'm anointed, knowing I'm called, I would go into areas and want things from people that will have no track record of fruit of delivering what it is I was looking for. And so then I have to now feel the weight of the disappointment. So I would feed it. I would go and sorry.
It's fine. It happens. It's a real moment. It's a real moment.
Yeah, we're real time, right?
It's real time.
Sometimes I would fight to get what I wanted because I just believe in ROIs, like return on investments.
Yeah,
I've been here too long. Here's the word, entitled. I'm owed this.
We don't want to have that conversation.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to, be entitled because I think I just need it because I'm not who I am.
Yeah.
But it's another to feel entitled because I actually work for this. I actually feel like I've given you something and you should give to me. But Tam, the result of that disappointment caused me to fall into a dramatic pornography addiction. That pornography addiction caused me to open my way into so many secret realities of just dysfunctional consequences, finding friends, drinking, and I didn't smoke, but just like doing things that were contrast to everything to cope with the fact I made a bad decision and expecting something from a person or even a thing that couldn't deliver. And then the last thing about it, Tam, is that even in that chapter, I talk about when I disappoint myself. And everything I just said makes it worse because I can forgive and let go of a person if they disappointed me. But sometimes I'll hold myself to such a level that when I've disappointed myself, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna come about. So yeah. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but it ain't making no sense.
No, it's making perfect sense. If you weren't, I'd be like, okay.
Figure it out for me. Help me out. Help me clear it up. We get a pathway. Sometimes I gotta keep talking until I get.
No, it is so good. So talk to us about the autopsy of hope. What made you go and write this book? What made you say, before you start publishing the next 98? This your first baby. What made you say? And I think I always think of one of my favorite quotes from Toni Morrison. And I like to remind, all my people who want to write, want to publish books, that if there's a book that hasn't been written, you go write it. Right? If you want a book that has not been, like, go and do it. What made you want to write the autopsy of hope? Where did that come from?
So first of all, it's obedience. Like, I don't believe that God can release anything to you until you release what he's giving you first. So stop expecting to receive something that you've not released, right? So I did that. Second of all, it's crazy that we're talking about it because for somebody who was writing their first book, I actually hated that book, like, because it's your first book. And I think because I'm so exposed to so many authors and noted people, you tend to compare yourself to those people. So I wasn't writing for me to be liked. I wasn't writing for me to go to a New York best time seller. I was just writing for me to be done because I needed to be trusted with the next thing that God wanted to download into me. So that's two. Number three, I am a byproduct of an individual who always hopes wrong. And I had to clarify the distinction between wishing and hoping. Because words matter. And in this society, people claim to hope in a lot of things, but they don't fully know the full context of hope. What we do is we wish. I wish I made $1 million. I wish and it has no construct to any predictability. But hope is a adequate, confident expectation, meaning it can be measured. And what I had to discern is that if you're going to survive in the day that we're living in today, it may feel as if it's whitewashed because it's something that we've always heard growing up. But what gets you out of the bed in the morning is hope. What drives you not to kill yourself is hope. What gets you over the hurdle of whatever failure you've had in the past is hope. It's the potency of acknowledging that my tomorrow will always be greater than my today. So I said the autopsy of hope because I read Obama's, the audacity of hope. And I realized that his audacity of hope came from a version of envisioning an America that we will never see. So I had to navigate with the autopsy because that version of hope died. And we're still trying to figure out the pieces as to not only did it die, but let's trace why it keeps dying. And maybe we have to come to this conclusion. Maybe we are hoping in the wrong thing. Because the real thing that we should be hoping in is not a thing, but a person, and it's Jesus.
That's good.
Period.
So I'm gonna make sure everybody gets the link to.
Yo, please do, and I'm always open to feedback, which I'm going back to my testimony again, Tam, because clarity helps me manage criticism. When I didn't have clarity, and I think that's why I'm glad you asked it, and I got to think about it a little bit more. Like, man, what is my testimony like? But that is a testimony. God gave me clarity. And He gave me clarity not of my purpose. He gave me clarity of myself. So when you read the book, you see you see a person writing struggling. Like the hardest chapter was the last one because it was me having to envision what hope looks like. Because we spend our whole lives dealing with what hope is not or what damage is done because I didn't hope. But then I had to now learn that I can live in a world where I can exist and I can really have an expectation that transcends logic. A belief, Tam, that says, there's so much more to me than meets the eye. An expectation that say, man, there's a global demand on me that coming from the west side of Chicago with a teenage mother and a father that was a game banger, that I can transcend the odds, that I'm not just a preacher, not just a church person, but I create impact everywhere I go. So, yeah. I'm getting emotional.
So good. No, I gotta get some say-so tissues or beach towels because
send them over by virtue.
I'm gonna send them over to you.
It's real, man. I think it's real, Tam, and not to hold you. I think it's real because I don't think people adequately see the truth in the growth. Or the pressure that we are constantly under, and even the personal pressure we put on ourselves to just show up and just to say so, right? They don't know the what it takes just to say so, right? And I think that if I can just express to your audience or anybody, it's just like, man, sometimes all it requires is just for you to show up and say so, and that is half the battle. Because when you say so, you really are communicating to all of the chains and all of the hindrances and limitations that are trying to mute you or silence you, that, hey, I'm so much stronger than I believe in. What I'm into right now, building a church and trying to convince a generation that, you know, we don't have to be popular to be powerful, or that we don't need to have influence in culture to have impact in our bloodline. You know, like that requires a different level of a journey. And so I think I get emotional because I think I'm still feeling the scars. But the testimony is that my scars are no longer wounds. And I leave it there. Amen.
I got one more.
Sure.
One more question for you. That was this would be the one before I was gonna ask you, because that was good. I wanted to know what encouragement you give someone with their say so. So no, that was good. But I think the cool thing, and every time we rap, every time I hear you speak, you remind me of the need of your incredible movement of cultural conversations. These cultural combos are something else. And even when I see people, reposting and putting them up, it just reminds me of the different and amazing and infinite conversations that we're not having. Like the need for that. Is that how this started?
Yeah.
And being able to talk about the things that people aren't talking about, whether it's not popular or it's uncomfortable or whatever, but it's shining a light on the dialogues that we're not having.
Yeah. Totally. I think that I had to embrace that I'm a reformer, and that my journey and path is not like others, and culture is not going anywhere. It's a byproduct of just our pure existence as a people. And I don't believe in the conversation that Ryan Hurd Niebuhr like said, where Christ against culture. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different parallels that he kind of fits in that book, Christ and Culture. I believe that Christ transforms culture. And I think that because we exist, I know what it is to be in a congregation and speak about Christ, but we don't speak about the thing that we're around, which is culture. So for me, I just like, man, I'm big on purpose. I'm big on God's will. I'm big on people finding out who they are, their identity. And I felt like we need to have these conversations because if anybody is going to impact this world, it should be people of faith. And so, like, really taking people on a journey so that people can realize that, hey, you're more than a church pew member. Like, you're more than a pastor or a singer. Like, you got to bring significant revolution into the context because Jesus was a revolutionary. So we take on matters that other people don't really deal with, like, and we really unpack them in, conversations such as, what is prayer? How does prayer look? Why don't we pray? What is purpose? Do we all have one? How do we tap into it? What is your calling? Can your calling be canceled? Is your calling predating you? Like, we just had an entrepreneur and we talk about, how are you legitimate? Like, how do you legitimize your business, your branding? How do you tap into a frequency where you are literally constantly finding money in areas where they don't exist? How do you tap into a need? And so for me, it's church. It's church in a restaurant. It's church at a Starbucks. It's church. And it, I think, speaks to the time that we're in, because until we tap into culture, I don't think people can adequately see a real revelation of Christ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Christ outside of culture is just, for me, a construct of what religion obtains to kind of feel better about themselves. But when you integrate culture, you discover that, hey, the legitimacy of Christ can always be discovered there, because it's like, wow, when you see culture, you see a need for Christ. And I think that my job is to take people out the four walls of church and to put them in a space and say, hey, you can talk all day about social justice in your church. And until you go into the streets and see the need for advocacy from an incarcerated person who was charged with a crime that they did not commit, have to spend time in jail without having that conversation that you should be a lawyer versus an evangelist, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got things that we try to, I call it like the incubator. Like the incubator is where you're able to grow and develop in a safe space. And I think that that's what we need more of in addition to church. So it's not separate, is that if I'm going to get the words, which we do in Bible study, is culture conversation that brings the practicality to the conversation to make all things happen in a unique and powerful way.
I love it. Thank you, Rudy. It was good. It was so good. So last segment is what say you, Cease, and you get to ask me any unvetted question of your choice. Is it like what made you go to Hampton University? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Is that what it is?
Nobody cares about that though. That's the thing. Nobody cares about Hampton. But you know what? That's what y'all. That's what y'all like. Nature is like. You put yourself to compete with us because that gives you the grace to kind of be relevant.
Oh gosh.
Tam,
yes, go.
What is next for you? What does next look like?
What does next look like? Oh man. I need to get my flower bed done because this landscape out here looks a little interesting. So that's hopefully that's next this weekend. Next for Tam, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't nobody know.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna say something. I'm in prayer on it.
Okay, I'm listening.
I do feel another book. I do feel another book. Okay. I'm sitting and just listening. So in my boo time with the Lord, I'm just listening, and mainly just because I think sometimes I was talking to someone who's interested in writing, and they're just dead set on a book and the timeline and the deadline and all the things. And I asked them, I said, did the Lord tell you to do this? And they didn't like that. And it turned into a very, let's just say, colorful conversation. Because they wanted it done. But they kept hitting all these roadblocks. So I want to make sure that if in fact it is another book, that it is the Lord and not Tam. So I'm happy and comfortable and content in just waiting, and just sitting with him. And I feel like, to your point, I love that you spoke about clarity, because I'm clear on one thing, and I'll get to that. But on this, I'm not sure, but I feel something brewing. Just, writer to writer, you get it. I feel something brewing. But the one of the things I do at the church is I'm the director of a discipleship program for young adults. So honestly, right now, last weekend, we graduated our first cohort, our 2024 cohort. And for not really the first time, but the morning of, the weight of that hit me, just like a ton of bricks. And the Lord, I'm getting a little teary, but I'm chilling. I'm keep be a thug. But the weight of discipleship has hit me more in the past 2-3 years than ever before. So honestly, it is, I want to lasso as many women to Christ as I can. However that looks. If that's writing a book, if it's say so, if it's teaching, whatever the case may be, that is honestly the core of my heart. And being open to how that looks, because I think sometimes we just put ourselves in a box of, this is how I'm supposed to evangelize, and this is how I'm supposed to share the gospel, and this is how I'm supposed to do that. And I'm like, we get to serve this incredible God in so many. He's the God of creation. Hello. So he's creative. So I think for me, honestly, I'm just open to however the Lord allows me to disciple them. Yeah. So bringing them to Christ, but then also just, what does it look like to walk alongside someone? What does it look like to follow me as I follow Christ? What does that really look like? Because the weight of the end of times is bananas. It's just, it's bananas. And I feel like the thing that we say that we are, we're going to be called to the carpet for it. Like, if you call yourself a teacher, you will be judged accordingly. If you call yourself a disciple, you will be judged accordingly. So I just want to be open to whatever that is and whatever that looks like.
Tell, if not you, then who?
If not you, then who?
Got it.
That is, yeah.
You know why it's exciting? Because if people only knew that sometimes Bishop Jake says, if what you're after is not the main thing, it's going to lead you to that thing. Yeah. Like, so you're looking at a book, God can see a manual. You're looking at a manual, God can see a movement. Like, you just don't know the steps that God will take. That's why, if any word, you talk about encouragement, let me throw this last one at you. Yes. Obey quickly. Yeah. Oh. If you want to get clarity from God, give God the ample room to prove to him you can be trusted with the small things. As you obey him quickly, he continues to give you more things to obey. And by the time you get to that point of obedience, generations are impacted, not because of opportunities, but through obedience. One man's obedience can impact thousands of individuals. We know each other today because of the obedience of one man who sits, that's my mama, one man who chose to come back to his original church and pastor a church called First Baptist Church of Glen Island. And because of this one man's obedience, generations, only heaven can record, have been impacted. And so, Tam, on your say so, we connect because we represent just a fraction of a remnant of individuals who have the grace to obey God to approximately 1,000 people. So I'm looking forward to not a book, but a movement. Amen. Don't we say, hey, if y'all watch this, y'all should put movement or move town. You graduating people from discipleship. Just imagine what can be graduated in the spirit at a weekend conference that ain't attached to a church, but attached to the obedience of what you carry. We love them, girl. Come on. Amen.
Receive. A little snotty receive.
Receive.
I love you so much.
For lifetime.
So much for life. Thank you all so much for tuning in with the one and the only Pastor Will Grandberry. I'm so grateful for you, sir. Thank you, family. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Do all of the things. And we'll catch you next time. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Say So. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, I want to hear from you. If you have a testimony you'd like to share of how the Lord has redeemed you, email me at saysowithtam@gmail.com. Until next time, keep saying so.